let's get into the on-pitch action now. Let's have a look at the fixtures for game week 1. It starts all over again. Game week 1, let's have a look at the fixtures. There you have them. Lovely, lovely, lovely games to start us off. And it begins Friday night, Burnley versus Man City. On Saturday at 11:30 a.m., like the football followers say, fear the early kickoff. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton and Luton. So Luton are back in the division after whatever, how many years away from the top flight. Everton, Fulham, Sheffield are also back, and their new manager. They take on Crystal Palace. Newcastle face Aston Villa. Very interesting game from St. James's. And then on Sunday, it's Brighton versus Brentford versus Spurs. Chelsea, Liverpool, which is all of a sudden the game of the week because of the drama. And then on Monday night, Manchester United start off their new campaign or their second season under Eric Ten Hag against Wolverhampton Wanderers, who until yesterday or so had their manager, Julian Lopetegui. He's moved on. Gary O'Neill, ex-Bournemouth boss, has taken over at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Guys, this is... if you had done the show yesterday, the question I would have asked you was that, okay, Burnley and Man City, and probably Man United and Wolves. But all of a sudden, this is Chelsea, Liverpool. Yeah. We all want to watch because of the transfer shenanigans. Yeah. It's very, very incredible things happening.
Yeah, very, 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 very incredible. And I, for one, can't wait for the first blow of the way. So enough of the telenovelas and a reality show on Saturdays. The Premier League football is back, and I can't wait for it to get started. Obviously, we are playing this evening. And looking at the fixtures, I mean, very balanced, very interesting games. Then, as I've said, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, we all can't wait to see what's going to happen. And I just pray that Chelsea get the signing done in time and presents him before the game starts. It will just crown everything off so beautifully. So yeah, we're waiting for it to kick off, and yeah, I think it will be very good.
Interesting. Yeah, your thoughts on Chelsea, Liverpool. Then we can highlight some of the other games.
That should be exciting purely because we want to see if Pochettino is actually ready to be back in the Premier League.
Wow.
If he can handle the new energy that Klopp is going to come with, then maybe his boys can do something special.
I see. We start off with this very interesting game between Burnley and Man City. We've seen Burnley under different managers, but under Vincent Kompany, they seem to have evolved completely, passing the ball out of the back. They are very daring. I read a very interesting stat that said that when they played under Sean Dyche, they played, they did 10+ passing sequences, about 10 to 100, whatever. But the difference under Kompany is so huge, and they are. So the question is, do you think they should stick to that style in this division, even though it could cost them, or they should modify it?
Certainly, we saw Kompany against a couple of Premier League teams last season, and he wasn't too bad. He could hold his own, but doing it over a whole season, some blunders will come in there. So he needs to be a bit cautious. You can take a chance when you're playing Sheffield United, but when you're playing Man City, Man United, Chelsea, certainly you have to be a bit more pragmatic
Arsenal,
over there.
Cool.
Arsenal is not really.
What?
It's not. Burnley will certainly beat Arsenal.
I see. So the same question: if you were Kompany, would you stick to the principles that got you here?
Yes, most definitely, because they are playing an
even when it could come at a price.
It could, but it's going to come against. I mean, half of the league they'll be able to beat with this style, because the league, most of the teams come and change the way they play, and they become very defensive. And come on, if you are going to play, might as well put your best foot forward. You can't just stay behind and pack your men back and expect to just bring something. Look at Leeds. Leeds came in the league. They played the way they were playing previously. They survived. I mean, after that, things happened.
They survived. Eventually, it caught up with them.
It might catch up with them later, but for this season, let them. We want to see some beautiful football being played. Enough of the hoof ball and this haram ball and all that. Let's play the beautiful game as supposed to be played. Let them come out. Let them possess the ball. Let us see, Turf more baying for blood once again, because we have had enough of this Sean Dyche type of football, and let's see something more exciting.
Guys, let's talk about the two teams who went for the title last season, Arsenal and Man City. Last weekend we saw the Community Shield. Arsenal won. Some people think that is the kind of kick City needs to remind them that Arsenal would want their hands on the Premier League title. Yeah, so do you think they will look at each other from day one and run the race? You get the point, like focus on each other?
I think everyone's going to be looking over their shoulder, but for City, their focus always remains on them. They know Arsenal pushed them to the end, but then they'll be concerned about what Brighton is doing, what Liverpool's doing, what Man United are doing. They would be looking at those teams, but they would focus on their own philosophy, just trying to ensure it's not an embarrassing first day for the champions and take it a day at a time. Maybe after 5 games, then we'll know a bit more about how they'll approach the rest of the season.
Interesting. 10 games to start of the weekend. So we've ticked off the Burnley Man City one, ticked off Chelsea Liverpool. Which other games on that list get your attention?
Well, for me, Newcastle, Aston Villa, easily, and Brighton, Luton, because I watched the playoffs and I saw what Luton did. It hurts me because I wanted to see Cov back in the Premier League. But then certainly Brighton, I know they would destroy Luton, but because it's their first game back, maybe they would pull a surprise. For Newcastle, Villa, we've seen them play. We've seen that new direction. Unai Emery has got in a couple of good players.
Yeah, he has.
And the way they played over pre-season, I'm really, really looking forward to this fixture because it would be like a future. It would tell us more about what preparing for the future will look like for Champions League spots and even for titles as well.
Interesting. Sydney, share your thoughts on Newcastle Villa?
Yeah. I agree with him perfectly because it's going to be hard to see James Park as well. And actually, I said, I think they did play in the summer series.
Yes,
Newcastle was a 3-3 or
3-3, yeah.
A very, very interesting game. And if that is a preview of what's happening tomorrow, I can't wait. And actually, I said, the Aston Villa are looking really, really good. They have brought in a lot of good purchases. Although Buendia had that setback.
Yeah, it looks like he's out.
Yeah. But apart from him, I think they have put together a very solid team. They have that shows you the benefit of having a good sporting director with Monchi there directing the Homes of Affairs and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And also with respect to the Brighton Luton, I'll call it here first. Luton to be relegated by the 30th game week. I don't think they're bringing anything new because they haven't brought anybody. They've brought in a couple of championship guys. I don't know.
They've brought in Ross Barkley, Marvelous Nakamba, and they've brought in people that have a bit of Premier League experience. They will do something special. Let's just watch.
Out by game week 30. I've called it.
We are all here. But I'm hoping Harry Maguire might go to West Ham so that I'll enjoy the Bournemouth West Ham game.
Bournemouth West Ham. We'll see Harry Maguire. He's the subject really of the bid. Well, the bid was accepted by Man United, £30 million or so. All right, just before we leave,